Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup, where we cover the games that took place today at Worlds 2022 Group Stage Day 3. We have the games here, and then afterwards I'll give you a preview of what's to happen tomorrow. Down in the description you'll see 3 links: Twitter, Discord, YouTube memberships. Twitter, follow me there. Self-explanatory, I post my links there to my content. Discord, join us. We BS about the games as they go on. Today was not as toxic as the last couple days, which is good. So maybe it'll be, a welcomed place for all people of all regions. Lastly, YouTube memberships, $3 a month. You support me. You get a badge in the comment section. I'd really appreciate that. $10, you get extra content. That includes a video that comes out after this one where I predict who I think is going to win these games. During my sneak peek, I just kind of give you a brief preview of the matchup, as well as American football, fantasy football content. So if that interests you, that's at the $10 tier, in addition to the badges. That's $10 a month. Went 6-0 today. Somebody got upset, actually, or they made reference that my picks were boring, one of my members, because I picked the favorites. And it's like, well, I'm not going to pick who I think is going to lose. So well, no, that's darn wrong. 5-1. DRX beat top. Ah, jeez. Yeah. It's a facepalm moment. Yeah, went 5-1. Shucks. Guess I should have had a little bit of int in my predictions. So Gam and Rogue roll over Gam. Early game they got ahead and they didn't look back. Malrung, they gave him a Jarvan. He's a Jarvan bot. You don't give him Jarvan. If you've done any research on Rogue, you don't give Jarvan. Larson, 507, 32% of damage. Comp, 405 in bot lane. KD, 152, 31% of damage for Gam. And Kiea, 4-1 and 1 in top on Camille. He did well into Odo, but bot struggled. Jungle struggled. Mid struggled. Rogue just outmatched Gam. And right now, Rogue, like I said yesterday, yesterday after beating DRX, they guaranteed themselves at least a tiebreaker. This game really helps them out as well, as they're in a position where they can kind of control their own destiny, which is not what we expected out of Rogue, right? Or in this group, I'm sure many people, including myself, thought top was going to be 2-0. So Rogue being where they are is in a good spot. The bot lane is doing well. Trimby pulled out the Soraka today, did well on it. He's willing to drop the ego. We'll see if anyone else is willing to drop the ego in this tournament to succeed. But I think that this was a Gam mistake by allowing Malrung to get Jarvan. If that doesn't happen, maybe the ganks aren't nearly as successful out of Rogue, and the game's a lot different. 100 Thieves and Gen G. I said in my predictions, I thought this would take an act of God, and there was no otherworldly thing that occurred to help 100 Thieves. They kept it close for a long time. Ruler went 4-2-3, 29% of damage. Peanut 3-0-10. Someday 2-4-3, 33% of damage for 100 Thieves. Closer 2-1-4. Someday actually was ahead of Doran for a long time in top lane, really putting him in a spot. And that was really the only bright spot for 100 Thieves. It was close for a long time, though, like I said, into the mid game. But Gen G were stacking Drakes, and then they just won the game. Just outmatched them. Clearly, 100 Thieves are better from one day to the next day. Actually playing against Gen G better than they did. What am I looking for here? I wanted to make sure I'm talking CFO is who they played yesterday. RNG is who they play tomorrow. It's late. 100 Thieves, getting better, but RNG look like an unstoppable force right now. So to be quite honest, tomorrow I think it's going to be a similar look to today. But if they can keep it close for a while, that's a plus as they go into the second half of their Worlds run, right? EDG and Fnatic. EDG win over Fnatic soundly. Viper 10-1-8, 32% of damage, I believe, on a Sivir. I think they'd went Sivir Yumi bot lane. Mako 3-1-15. Humanoid 4-2-2, 45% of Fnatic's damage. I think he was on an Azir. He was on an Azir because an ultimate sticks out to me that he completely whiffed on in a big fight that was really obvious that he missed. Upset 4-4-1. Couldn't play KDA today. So EDG just ran him right over, though. Flandre over Wonder. Flandre went with the Gragas and did solid, did his job, which is, I hope Gragas needs to come into the meta, because he is like that secondary like tank after Ornn is like, okay, well, I want to be relevant, but I'm going to lose lane with Grace. So that's a solid pick. JJ kind of looked good at times, inconsistent at others. Scout looked pretty good. But all around, EDG just beat Fnatic up pretty good, and Viper with his 10 kills obviously went off. C9 and T1. T1 really, really won this one. Big time. Gumayushi, 11-0 and 4, 34% of the team's damage on a Kesa, had 2 quadra kills. Owner, 3-1-9 in the jungle. Jensen, 0-4-2, 41% of damage. At least he picked the Azir this time. And Berserker went 2-2-0 on a Tristana. It was actually something watching Berserker in this game, because it's like, well, what is he supposed to do? The game was close until it wasn't. And when it wasn't, there was a big fight in bot lane where Berserker wasn't in the fight. And Guma got a quadra kill in that fight, and the game was lost. So after that, Berserker kind of just like was like he did the game before, which I don't blame him. Kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to farm in side lane. I'm just going to farm, and the game's pretty much over, and we're going to soft int this one away. Now, did he die a couple times, get into fights, and not finish off kills? Yeah, he didn't have enough damage because he was soft inting away, because I can't blame him for that. Teams making terrible decisions, getting into fights that they should not be getting into. So T1, big win, as they just continue to roll. And C9 start the tournament 0-3. Before they have to, they have a couple days here to try and figure something out in scrims, and hopefully they do so for NA's sake. RNG and Flying Oyster. RNG runs over Flying Oyster. This was not close. Gala 4-0-13, 38% of damage. Way 5-0-13. Mission 1-7-4, 34% of damage on a Victor, I believe. Shun 3-3-2. So RNG dominant win. Nothing is surprising in this one, really. Gemini had moments where he actually looked pretty good, but I mean, Zhaohu's Lissandra was nasty. Breathe, I believe, was on a Fiora, and he was nasty. Like, it was just an all-around beatdown. RNG right now, I mean, T1 lost to EDG, right? So, but RNG probably are the best team right now, looking at it. Tuesday, I'm going to have a video where I go over, like, oh, well, what teams do I think are, going into the second half of groups, who's looking good, who's not. I mean, I think a lot of people can see what they think, but need a video for Tuesday, right? So, RNG just run over Flying Oyster. There's really not much else to say. It's pretty self-explanatory. DRX and top. This game just ended. Damage numbers aren't out yet. Pioshik 6-0-8 on a Graves, ending with a quadra kill. Barrel 1-0-13 on a Braum. Knight 1-1-0 on an Azir. And Tien 1-2-0 on Trundle? Vi. On a Vi. Because the Vi is useless. That's right. So, why did this game end the way... Why did the game go the way it did? Well, Jackie Love pulls out a Draven. And top tried to dive in the early game in the laning phase in bot, and they were so laser focused and tunnel visioned on trying to get Jackie the kill, because he's the Draven, that they didn't get him the kill and they all died, which then in turn flipped the game and they lost. They lost from there. Sure, game isn't lost at that point, but that's why they were in a hole, and it just snowballed from there as Jackie Love continued to get killed and could not do anything with the stacks he did have. So DRX win the game pretty soundly. Both teams 1-1 now. It's a big win for DRX because losing to Rogue was like, oh crap, you know, now you're going to lose to Top twice. You need to beat Rogue again to have a chance. Now this changes everything for them, and changes everything for Top, as both are behind Rogue. So it's a thing going into tomorrow. Outside of that, they played Pioshik, obviously, like I said, he's in the game, and hope to God they don't play Juhan again. Sorry, Juhan, you are just not cut out for this. It is the Pioshik show. So that's the situation from today's games. Now into the sneak peek for tomorrow. Unlike the first 3 days, there are no historical rematches tomorrow. All these matchups are firsts, at least based on my limited research. I like to think that the research is pretty solid, but I did screw up a year with Fnatic and somebody recent in one of the videos. But as far as this goes, I think this is the first for everybody meeting each other. JDG and G2, Yagao versus Caps is what I want to watch. Caps needs to carry for G2 against EG. That is what it is. You beat EG, good, congratulations, but you're trying to beat DK and JDG to get out of this group, right? So you need to beat JDG. And JDG look pretty nasty right now. Kanavi is on a roll, and I'm sorry, but I don't think Jankos can match Kanavi in the jungle. So it becomes Caps' job to carry via mid lane against Kanavi. Caps is the best player. Give him a good pick, whether it's Azir or Silas or something of high potential. And that'll be their best bet because as of right now, JDG are rolling. And Yagao, I'm not a big fan of Yagao. But the fact of the matter is, he is capable of keeping Caps under control. So this matchup is what to watch. Rogue and Top, Comp and Jackie Love. Jackie Love, like I said, coming off of this big loss. Comp coming off of a win against Gam. Comp has looked good throughout this tournament. He's looked good in playoffs for a while now, and the bot lanes definitely have to show up. If they can get Jackie Love in a hole, Top becomes kind of sus. I mean, Knight obviously is extremely talented. Second best mid in the world, in my opinion, behind Chovy. But the fact of the matter is, if you can do to Top what DRX did, and you affect the bot lane, and you just kind of go with the flow, you have a chance. Especially because like weird things like Kingen was able to do well on Gnar into Wayward, which was a surprise. But Rogue and Top, I mean Odo into Wayward. Wayward should win that matchup, but if he can't beat Kingen, is Odo gonna, do work tomorrow? It's possible. In the jungle, I do think Tian over Malrung, there is a gap there, but similar jungling styles. They are not carry junglers, they're facilitators. So the gap between two facilitators is not quite as high. It's more so intelligence, if anything, that would give an advantage. But in the bot lane, if Comp can keep Jackie Love under control, if the bot lane can win the 2v2, Rogue have a chance to beat him. The blueprint's out. Damwon and EG. So this is tough here. So Inspired versus Canyon, all 3 games. You're going to say, why do you keep putting Inspired down? Isn't there anybody else on EG that can get the job done? No, there's not. It's all Inspired. Honest to God, put him on Karthus. Put him on Karthus and let him farm, and just farm some more and hope. I don't know. Do something. They're going to have to do something real creative to have a chance against Damwon the way that EG's been playing. Vulcan, I don't even know what to do with him. I don't put him on Tom Kench because he's going to eat somebody when they're trying to do something. So don't put him on that. Put him on, put him on Yuumi if you can. Maybe that's Vulcan. Maybe that's a champ for Vulcan. Put him on Yuumi. I don't have nice things to say. Canyon, last game was kind of sus on the Maokai. His smites were good, but they lost the game against JDG because his ults were awful. So there is a chance for Inspired to get ahead of Canyon in this one, at least in my opinion. So we'll see how that goes. 100 Thieves and RNG. Someday versus Breathe is what the matchup of the the matchup of the match. Someday beating Doran and Lane. Someday is, I guess, going to be the guy to go with. I said this yesterday about 100 Thieves. I'm going to say it again. 100 Thieves do not inspire me at all on paper. Nobody pops out at me. Closer versus Wei is not something that, I mean, I guess Closer versus Wei is a nice matchup. But bot lane, RNG's bot lane is going to roll him. Zhao, who's way better than Abadage. So the fact of the matter is, we'll see if Someday can do something in top lane against Breathe. I don't want him to pick a Fiora, but if he can figure out something up there, go right ahead. After coming off of a matchup against Doran, I think he's capable of laning against Breathe. So, see how that one goes. Gen G and CFO, Ruler versus Shun. Not much really to say here. Similar to just how I feel about CFO. Flying Oyster, congratulations. You beat 100 Thieves. You beat a major region. You can, shake your fists in the air and be so happy. But the fact of the matter is they are definitely outclassed against the LCK and LPL. So, what do we do here? Well, Mission, I think, has Mission versus Chovy. Chovy's going to get ahead of Mission. Peanut and Gemini, Gemini can carry, Peanut can carry, both are can facilitate top lane, Rest, and Doran. I mean, Rest could probably get ahead of Doran if Someday could. But in bot lane, I think it's what to watch. Shun definitely was a key contributor to their win against 100 Thieves with his 10 kills. And Ruler still needs to get online. He has not popped off. Game 1 on the Senna, he struggled. And then today he struggled. Well, didn't struggle, but he didn't, really... take the bull by the horns against 100 Thieves. 4-2-3, 29% damage is not dominating the game by any means. So, we'll see if he can really step it up in this one and give us, a look of what we expected out of Gen G. Because so far we have not... I mean, this game was close for way too long if you're expecting Gen G to be a championship contender. Lastly, GAM and DRX... BA and Barrel. So Barrel, very good in this one on Braum, 1-0-13. BA has struggled mightily for GAM, has not been able to help style out much, dying a lot. An MVP of the VCS, or voted second, and then was finals MVP or something. He needs to make a difference in the bot lane. He and Style need to do something in the bot lane, get ahead of Deft and Barrel to have a chance. Katie is not doing it in this tournament. Levi versus Pioshik. I want to give the edge to Levi, but Pioshik played really well today. And then in top lane, Kia really, he did well, 4-1-1, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is he coin flippy? What's the deal here? So, as far as that's concerned, I don't expect it to be a blowout, but at the same time, I think it has the potential to be, because GAM in both games have not given me something to be really excited about. Unlike Saigon Buffalo, which was just a team that's very aggressive from the VCS, and GAM is a little more reserved, which is what the scouting report and insight was. So that's it for the roundup for today. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube member. Subscribe to the channel at the very least, like the video, comment down below with your opinions on these games, how you think the games are going to go tomorrow, and thank you for watching.